Welcome everybody to Waffle Capital Episode 1 CAS edition. I'm joined by my two co-hosts,
Luca Lupano.
and
Francesco Colisei.
today we will be discussing AI's present and future impact on our lives. Francesco, why don't you kick off this conversation?
All right. Well, AI has taken a very important part in our daily lives. It can be used for anything. It can be used to write birthday messages. Can be used to make your grocery list, find new things to cook, and write essays for various things. I think it's very important, and I use it quite a lot. Do you guys use it quite a lot?
Yes, I use it to get things done quickly when I don't have enough time.
That's true.
And I find it to be a very efficient tool. We can relate it to how calculators are used for math, AI, and ChatGPT in particular can be used for a wide array of different activities.
Subjects, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
What about you, Luca?
Yeah, I completely agree with you guys. I think AI is quite. And recently, obviously, with the emergence of ChatGPT, is quite a breakthrough in the technology, and it's quite useful in our everyday lives, especially for school, but also for jobs. And which is why we're discussing about it today. We're going to discuss about the effects and the impact it has on right now for us, our generation, but also for the future.
All right. So, how do you think AI will impact employment opportunities in various industries, and how can we prepare for potential job displacement?
I think artificial intelligence can lead to a job displacement, and particularly in industries that rely heavily on employees that have routine or repetitive tasks. So this includes low-skilled labor in most cases,
Sure.
but it will also create jobs. For example, more engineers will be required to develop AI softwares, and and for data science and
Various other
development.
subjects, for sure.
Yeah.
What do you think, Luca? Same?
I completely agree. I think AI is definitely going to replace many jobs, many simple tasks, which is something we have to think about for the future of our generation. Also, look and seek how new jobs can arise from AI. As Leo said, obviously AI software and developing these new and also innovating in AI and making it better is probably going to be some more jobs that will come to in the future. But yeah, I think it's quite an important topic to talk about. And as you said, it will heavily disrupt the working industry.
So I think a crucial topic when it comes to AI is ethics, and I think we should discuss what ethical considerations should be taken into account when designing artificial intelligence systems, and how we can ensure that they align with our values as a society.
I'll start us off. So I think there's quite a few things that are to be kept at the forefront of AI progression as we build through this era, and that's bias. I think is very important. If AI is used by everyone and also in the education system, it's important that bias is taken into consideration, so it doesn't make, for example, political choices because of its creators. Also, privacy is very important. The privacy of people needs to be respected, like social media has been working through these years with data recovery and various other factors. Furthermore, transparency into how the AI is made is also needed, both for governmental supervision, but also for the supervision of education systems, which will, I imagine, highly rely in the future on AI because it is going to be such a key factor in the future. And also accountability. If errors are made, how can we solve them, and who has made the mistake so that we can recover from it.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think AI should definitely, when designing AI systems, we should definitely take into account the ethical frameworks around it, the codes of conduct, and definitely not make it easy to bypass any regulations, because this can obviously be quite something important for the AI industry.
For sure.
Regarding transparency, many schools have taken action towards this, and our school, for example, has applied a rule in which if you use ChatGPT for essays, for example, it needs to be cited in the bibliography. What do you guys think about this?
I think that's a great implementation of the system. I think it's better than most schools who have completely denied the access to AI to students, which I personally think is dumb. I think AI is going to be a key part in our learning in university, but also in our jobs and in the future in general for our children even. I think banning it is honestly kind of childish and immature. There's other ways to tackle the problem. What do you think, Luca?
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think it's quite a waste not to use AI. I think using AI is more efficient for us students. Obviously, completing those, heavy tasks about reading, and obviously it's important to do the task, but using AI is quite more efficient. But it also is a tool that to completely ignore is, I think, foolish from our school to be able to ban it, because with this rapidly changing world, I think we should adapt to our resources and to our methods and to new ways of learning.
For sure. What do you think, Leo?
I strongly agree. And I have a follow-up question regarding citing the work.
Sure.
How can it be made sure that this rule is being applied?
As to citing work?
Yes.
Well, I think there's various programs which have been working towards this, which were used in the past. I forget the name now, but exam.net is working on a GPT-3 and 4 detector, which is essentially the engine running behind ChatGPT and various other AI models, which detects if the algorithm is used in certain manners, because the algorithm is traceable, like other various forms of cheating. And I think this should be taken seriously by the school system, because cheating with AI is just being lazy.
Yeah.
You're not doing anything, you're just asking a computer to write it for you. And if a student were to make this mistake, though, I think it's important that it is taught to them instead of them getting heavy consequences for it. I think it's important that we find a fine balance between cheating and using AI properly.
I think we can go on to the next question of how will widespread adoption of AI affect the economy, and what measures can we take to ensure that the benefits of AI are distributed fairly across society? Obviously, with people not having the same access to resources, how can we ensure that AI is something that everybody's able to?
I mean, clearly one of the greatest advantages of AI is that it promotes efficiency, and with increased efficiency and productivity comes economic growth, but it may also exacerbate existing inequalities, and this is something that needs to be addressed.
For sure, yeah, I completely agree.
So what are the potential risks associated with AI, and how can we ensure that malicious actors do not exploit these vulnerabilities to cause harm?
So AI has many risks that come with it. Although it is a very helpful tool, it can be dangerous if not taught well and used properly. So malicious use of AI by criminals or terrorists is possible, and a potential for AI to be used in cyber warfare or attacks on critical infrastructure is also possible if someone gets a hold of the manufacturer or the code that runs behind the AI. So this is why it needs to be, in my opinion, put behind government laws and protection, because it is going to become such a key part of our world. It needs to be protected somehow.
For sure, it definitely has to be really heavily regulated. We can't have the AI like tools in everyone's hand, because as you said, if it falls into the wrong person's hands, it could lead to some severe consequences. Obviously, with data being online, you can do all things if you have the access to these resources that are very severe, and which is why again we have to implement very, very strict and very the use of resource rules that will help prevent these problems.
Yeah, I strongly agree. I think heavy supervision is required because the power of this tool shouldn't be underestimated, and therefore the best way to ensure that it's being used in the right way is through supervision. I think an important topic to highlight is social inequality and how AI can impact that, because with it being a very powerful tool, people who have access to it obviously have an advantage of people who don't have access to it. So how can we avoid the consequences of what this tool can bring?
So that's a very interesting point you make. I think as AI is going to evolve, right now ChatGPT, as we know, there's a free feature, but there's also a subscription-based feature. Although you don't get much from the subscription-based feature right now, I'm sure as we move on and we stigmatize and normalize AI, there's definitely going to be subscription-based tools that are going to be stronger than the free-based users. it's obviously going to create a lot of inequality for people who can't afford them, especially if AI gets systematized in the education system and in the workplace, because people with superior AI features are going to be able to perform better than people without. That being said, I think the AI is featured after human intelligence. So if a person is intelligent enough, I don't think that should be a problem. But I do see your point in making that. I think it's very important to, yeah.
I think this can be tied to government intervention in a way, with it being, well, what it could become a fundamental tool. Do you think subsidizing for people who aren't able to afford it would be appropriate?
I think it would be perfectly appropriate. I think, in fact, although this may sound a bit communist, I think like making an AI that's available to the public for each country is something that should be taken into consideration, as it equals equal opportunity for everyone that's born there or lives there. I don't know how they're going to regulate it, but something like that would mean less inequalities all throughout, because the state offers it to the citizen. But yeah, privatizing it could be dangerous.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Franchi. But I think the problem will be that, you know, AI companies, with the increase in demand that will happen in the upcoming future, you know, obviously they can't provide the service for everyone. As we're seeing ChatGPT, it'll say it's busy, there's too many users, which is why I think they're going to start putting subscriptions, which is something that will definitely impact. It will be a factor to social inequality, because people with subscriptions probably will have the use of this AI, while people that don't won't. And this is something that has to you know, we have to
Take into consideration, for sure.
when coming up with these with the progression of AI.
For sure.
So to conclude our episode, I want to ask you guys, what industries or what type of jobs do you think will stay alive in the long run with the progression of AI, and what jobs do you think will definitely be replaced with AI?
I think many industries will gain, but many will lose. And in particular, the first industry that came to mind for me were services that are usually offered through Fiverr. So people who create scripts, people who help you to write essays, anything that involves editing, any writing, or coming up with questions. I think those industries will definitely suffer, and people who did that as a profession will need to find an alternative in their lives. But I think the majority of businesses and firms will definitely gain from AI, because once again, it promotes efficiency.
For sure, yeah. I also think low-level jobs, as they've been doing for a while now with technology, are going to lose. So manufacturing jobs, which require handwork and human work, are probably going to take a toll on this, because AI is just going to be able to improve and think how humans used to think while making objects, which I think is going to be cool. We're going to have very accurate machines that work as humans.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be interesting how that works.
Assistive tools in general will really take a hit from AI as a whole. Definitely.
For sure.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I think possibly one of the industries that won't suffer as much is the entertainment industry. Obviously, like sports or cinema, because obviously those type of industries require human roles because of the human connection, and that's one of the industries that won't suffer as much. Which is something, you know, to take into account maybe for upcoming people who are looking towards new jobs. Something to think about, obviously, how AI will impact the job you want to do, and if it's maybe important to look at the other options.
All right. Thank you very much for watching. This was episode 1 of the CAS project. We hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.